news. My brain has been just kind of like going bananas like while I've been driving around the night. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably the fact that, like, there's how do I put this? You know what I mean? There ain't been like no motherfucking tea here in the past, like, fucking week. So, like, caffeine been kind of hard to come by for me because I don't drink no coffee, right? I ain't never had coffee in my motherfucking life. So, I was standing here and I'm thinking about shit, right? And I kind of want to, like, get all this shit down to where, like, it needs to be. And, like, I think I'm just going to ran it the fuck off and see where it lies. Like, you ever sit there and, like, come up with, like, a scenario inside of your head, right? Where, like, you're, like, doing some nonsense and it kind of comes out of your mouth or, like, out of your face and you don't even recognize it, right? Like, I'll tell you what, I was out with a hike with this bitch one time, right? And, like, I have my headphones in and jamming out, going down the fucking road, or going down the trail and shit. And I'm, like, walking in front of her, and I got my hood up because, like, there's, like, fucking bugs packing at my fucking back of my neck and my ears, right? And in my head, I'm picturing, like, a bear coming out of the motherfucking woods, and I gotta fight this motherfucking bear and shit, right? And she's like, bro, listen, why are you over there, like, motherfucking, like, losing your mind and shit and, like, fucking growling? I'm like, I'm fighting an imaginary bear at the moment, you know what I'm saying, right? But I be having the same thing when I be thinking about politics. Like, bro, listen, if I just had, like, a chance to, like, a debate stream or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, on, like, a debate, you know what I mean? Where, like, I'm up on, like, like, up on, like, a fucking top of the thing. Like, what is it that I would tell the American public, right? You know what I mean? I would start off, you know what I mean, with some shit like, listen, okay? Let me throw this down real quick, because I think a lot of motherfuckers need to hear this. If you're negotiating with another entity and you can't do it harm and it can do you harm, you're not negotiating, you're begging. Why do I say this? So, like, if you're asking for permission, it's because of the fact that somebody else, you know what I'm saying, has rights to that thing, has control of that thing, and therefore it controls you. Like, when you're negotiating with the federal government, the government agrees to stand here and honor its promises with the law, the courts, and all this type of shit, right? And if the government agrees to sit here and honor its shit, that's cool. But the problem is like, it agrees to do so. It doesn't mean it fucking has to, right? Like, if you don't, and like all this nonsense, we got our AR-15s and our 12 gauges and our 30-06 and all that shit. Bro, listen, yes, you're right. 100% you are right. But you're not, okay? Because at any given time, the government can drone strike your fucking house. You know what I'm saying? And, like, let's keep it a buck. How far are we from that? How far are we from the point where the government goes, like, say goodnight to the bad guy, right? This is the last time you're going to see a bad guy like me. How long is it until we get there? Like, I feel like we are real fucking close to that point with this government, where it's just like, man, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really give a fuck, you know what I mean, about what it is that you do. You know, like, real shit. Like, and so if we're not, like, or if your state doesn't have a military, you're literally, like, you're negotiating a weakness. Let's keep this 100% honest. And I know, like, a lot of motherfuckers gonna stand here and they're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, P, bro, listen, like you gonna have states going to war with each other. That should be the least of your concerns, right? Because at least then you're a sovereign motherfucking state. Because what is the one thing about being a state actually mean, right? There are no states. Your state doesn't exist if you don't have the right to conduct warfare. Right? Let's keep it a buck. Like, in the inherent rights of every state is the right to conduct warfare. And if you can't conduct warfare, you're not a fucking state. Like, let's keep this 100% honest. All right? 100, keep it a buck, right? My state is closer than a lot of others, right? Because at least we have our own agencies and shit. We got our own institutions. We ain't gotta beg the feds to come fucking help us every time something bad happens. Let's keep this a buck. You know what I mean? Keep it all the way a beat, right? Like legit. Like all y'all, like all this bullshit begging for help from the feds and shit. Nigga, why ain't North Carolina fucking doing their thing? If your fucking state can't take care of you, why are you paying taxes to it? Why does it have authority? Like, nigga, authority gotta match responsibility. Nigga, and if it ain't got the responsibility, the fuck does it have authority for? Let's keep this 100. What right does it have? You know what I mean? That's kind of where we're at right now, right? Like, nigga, if your ass ain't got responsibility, you ain't a motherfucker, you ain't got authority. It works both ways. Right? Like, men in this country, we have all the authority and we have all the responsibility and none of the authorities. These niggas got none of the responsibility and all the authority. The fuck is this? Secondly, let's keep this 102, right? Right? I just lost like my whole train of thought because I had to like switch lanes and shit. Right? If these motherfuckers here, real shit, if they're not gonna stand here and like do the basics of what like a fucking simple state would do for its people, like why are we like, or no, here's why. Why do we worship this government like it's God? I'm tired of this religious thinking about the fucking government. I'm gonna keep this 100 with you, right? Like every time something bad happens, niggas like, oh, like the government's the one that sent the hurricane. Oh, the government's the one got space lasers and set Hawaii on fire. Oh, the government got like blow darts to track your DNA. The government out here doing all, bro, listen, the government is not God. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this government is not a God. It is made up of incompetent fucking people. Let's keep this all the way a beam. Right? Like, there's no reason why it is that, like, we should look at this fucking government as if it's God. Like, I realize that, like, everybody's taught this from the start. Because, like, I just got done talking to my daughters, right? And, like, you know, like, I had to have a conversation with my daughter because, like, she, like, 9, my fucking older daughter, right? Well, she's like my stepdaughter, but, like, she's my daughter because I noticed, like, she was, like, 4 days old, right? And, like, her dad's in jail for molesting her sister, right? So, like, you know, I'm looking after motherfucking this little girl, but now, right? And she's, like, 9, and she has a boyfriend, right? And she didn't want to break up with his boyfriend because of how people will think about it, right? And I told her, I said, listen, you know what I mean, don't worry about how these motherfuckers think about you. You ain't gonna know most of these motherfuckers in, like, 5 years. And I know you don't know what 5 years is yet, right? Because you've only been alive 9. That's like more than half your lifespan, right? And like, I'm also talking to them like, what y'all learn in school today? And they're like, oh, we learned how to call 911 if you need help. Like, bro, listen, my eye went up, right? My eye went up, my brain went up, my eyes perked up, my eyebrows perked up, right? I'm over here like, bro, listen, I don't like the idea of my daughter's calling 911. Let's keep it a bone. I don't like the idea of this. This is the beginning of the training that the government is the motherfucking thing that helps you to fuck out and allows you to survive. Right? This government really don't give a shit about nothing. Like right now, there's a journalist in motherfucking Israel. He's an Italian American. And like the fucking Israel's over here beating his ass and torturing him. You know what I mean? And fucking his ass up for motherfucking reporting the bad things that have happened. Right? Let's keep this 100. Okay? And our government ain't fucking helping him at all. Right? Our government, if like we had any type of real government in the world, if you kidnap one of our fucking people, we should immediately be bombing the dog shit out of you. Right? It should immediately be, you are now a fucking enemy of my state. Right? But the government ain't doing shit. Why is the government not doing shit? Because number 1, the government's incompetent. Number 2, the government's in bed with these motherfuckers. Number 3, you know what I mean? Like, yo, the government needs to stand here and have its fucking allies out here, right, who are able to motherfucking spy on people and shit. And that's the whole purpose of goddamn Israel. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with y'all, right? You know what I mean? Like, yo, let's keep this all the way 100 about things. Let's be honest here, okay? Our government, I don't know why it is we're still like supporting it. Like, why does anybody fly the American flag anymore? Doesn't make any fucking sense to me, right? Like, yo, I hear motherfuckers stand here and go like, oh man, listen, you burn this flag, I'll beat your ass. Like, Brad, listen, what has this government done for you? Like, I understand that, like, you had this like tertiary fucking old school belief of like George Washington versus the Redcoats and the Civil War, World War II. You have all this propaganda in your head that you have to let go of eventually, right? Like, you gotta let go of that shit. You go like, bruh, listen, that is not us no more. And to be a fact, that was never us. There's a lot of arguments we fought on the wrong side in World War II. Let's keep this 100, right? We'd have been better off on some other shit, right? And motherfuckers still out here flying the flag and the stars and bars, motherfucking hitting up fireworks and shit and singing and standing for the national anthem. I get it, you honoring the dead. I understand, right? But you don't gotta throw good money after bad. Let's keep it all the way honest here, all right? Let's keep it all the way a buck, right? Like, why are we throwing good money at the back? They tell you that white men are evil before you go, you know what? I'm not flying the flag no more. The symbol of your country can eat a dick. I'm making my own shit and start something new. That's what needs to be done. And as I said, your state needs to form its own fucking military. Real shit. Why? Because you cannot negotiate with a fucking country unless you have the ability to motherfucking conduct warfare. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers sue for peace. War is politics by another means. War is the beginning of politics, dog. Let's keep it 100. Politics is war by another means. Let's keep this all the way honest. It's fucking dumb. And motherfuckers don't understand that the patrons of a motherfucking state that stands here and motherfucking like doesn't give a shit about them and never will. That's purposely driving down their motherfucking wages. That's purposely destroying their fucking families. And they don't even know what that shit even looks like to start with. We ain't seen a family in like fucking 3 generations. Let's keep it a bone. Like, yo, for fuck's sake. Ain't nobody in this fucking country once seen a motherfucking actual family since like the fucking 1900s. Motherfuckers haven't had a family since they left the old world and shit. Everybody been atomized for years. Germans ain't come here and have families. Germans came here and split off and had farms. And then they split off and had farms, and they split off and had farms. We ain't seen a family in forever. We're over here like, yo, I was watching a farming motherfucking short earlier, right? And these dudes was over here talking about we need to come up with legislation to be able to have like a succession plan. Like, nigga, what? The fuck do you mean you need legislation for that? Why would you need legislation for a succession plan for a fucking farm? Why don't you just think about your fucking kids? What the hell are you talking about? What? The fuck is this nonsense? Bro, you motherfuckers is on some retarded shit. Like, these motherfuckers' brains is stuck on stupid. Motherfuckers have just lost their goddamn minds. Like, niggas ain't even thinking like fucking niggas. They thinking like fucking like monkeys or something. I don't even think thinking like lawyers. Farmers is thinking like lawyers. The fuck is going on? The fuck happened? Like, all you fucking goddamn retarded... Man, it's not the niggas that watch my channel. Y'all all know the deal, right? Every one of y'all know the motherfucking deal. Like, yo, all y'all motherfuckers that follow me, y'all know what it's hitting for. We way ahead of the game. Motherfuckers like say I'm out here tar wrangling. No, I'm not. Motherfuckers, yo, look, there's 2 ways to get what I'm saying. It's instinctually or intellectually, right? Motherfuckers is usually playing catch up to what we saying, right? I promise you in 2 years, You have motherfuckers calling for states that have their own militaries. Promise you that. You know why? Because that's what the fuck happens. Every fucking time. Right? Every time we say some shit, motherfucker 2 years later they own some, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Let's keep it all the way honest here. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. It really is fucking ridiculous. I apologize, I ain't reading the chat right now, nigga. I'm driving, okay? So, like, it is what it is. Just need to vent off some shit off the top of my head. And let's talk about this, right? If you was in front of like the motherfucking country, what concept would you describe? Because there's like 5 of them that need to be described, and then you got to grab one of them and do. Like, which one is the most important one? Like, you got a message to get out there. Right? Like, what message is it that you would think would be the most important one for everybody to hear? Right? I'll be honest with you. I think maybe the most important message we have is the idea about patronage. And let me explain why. Right? Explaining that motherfuckers is tied to people because, like, they look at them as a vote bank, right? Explaining to people that they're patrons of other people, of bigger powers, is large, right? Because it's an idea that gets stuck there. You can't let go of it, right? Like, the moment you hear you're a patron of somebody, you immediately want to just shake that shit off like a dog getting off his collar, right? You want to push it off of him, right? I think the idea, like, I would literally, like, motherfucking, like, that's one of the things I would probably, like, push the hardest, is the fact that these motherfuckers are literally patrons of other motherfuckers, right? Because most motherfuckers don't know. You know, they don't know, they don't show or don't care about being a menace to South Central while drinking their juice in the hood, right? Keeping it a buck. You know? Like, they don't really give a fuck about the fact that they're fucking patrons to a fucking state and a fucking authority. They don't know. They don't know that they link to some shit that they don't fucking even see. They're relying upon something. Because at least then, if motherfuckers understood that message, you can start sorting out the motherfucking friendlies from the goddamn motherfucking, like, people who are unwittingly a part of this, right? Like, you could stand here and sort them out and go, like, bro, listen, that nigga's a soldier, that nigga's a motherfucking, like, oh, he's a retard, right? You can start sorting shit out. Like, we kicked that one dude out of Discord the other day, right? That motherfucker was literally a goddamn fucking patron. He was a patron of the neoliberal state. And in being a patron of the neoliberal state, hold up, bro, like, listen, I got some gum and shit. I ain't even think about the fact that I had some gum and shit, right? He was pushing their ideologies. And he literally had his shit as a blue pillar. Now, back in the day, we might have grabbed a hold of this nigga, shook him to the fucking floor, and motherfucker sat here and broke him open. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, what he was is a dark Brandon troll. And all of us are kind of tired of arguing with motherfuckers. If we're being honest. Right? I'm getting tired of, like, arguing with dumb motherfuckers all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it a buck. Who's this big dude, bro? Let me add you as a moderator. You know what I'm saying? Standard moderator. There we go. Right? Welcome, Vic. You know what I'm saying? Nice to see you out here in the motherfucking chat. Bro, listen. So, like, who am I yelling? I'm just, bro, listen, this is a fucking live stream. Just bitching. Like, do you understand, like, how live streams work, though? I feel like you don't know who live streams, like, how live streams work. You know, like, I feel like if you can't go on a 20-minute rant every once in a while and just let, like blow the pipes out, something wrong with you. You know? Sometimes you gotta fucking stand here and just let the evil out. And instead of like letting the evil out from, you know, I mean, a perspective of, you know, I don't know, like being a faggot and playing video games, you know what I'm saying? Like I holler and I hoop and I yell. Right? It's way more fun. God damn it. Like I feel like what needs to happen, right, is that we need to have real conversations in this country. Like actual conversations. About nations, about states, about peoples, about ethnicities, about all the shit, right? And get down and dirty with it. Like all the things that we've papered over with like tons of cheap capital and credit. You know what I mean? Like needs to be motherfucking, you know what I mean, talked about now that we're no longer having the ability to continue to have like exponential growth. Like all this shit that we've done over the past like fucking 200 years has been on a process of just exponentially motherfucking growing our economic statuses and having the ability to like conquer a motherfucking continent. And that shit's over with. This continent is settled. And at this point, we're literally drawing off more resources than we have available to us. Like, for instance, like we're going to be covering some shit here soon that's like an exclusive for this channel. Like, Austin, Texas, they're literally running out of fucking water in the aquifers, right? Because it's not Tulsa, Phoenix. In Phoenix, where like they're going, yeah, we can't have any more people come here. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of where it's at. So if you have too many fucking people, you draw off all the resources in an area, you overextend them. Then all of a sudden you're looking and you're going, oh well, you know what I mean? Like fucking, what do we do now? Because we don't have a government that functions on an infrastructure level, right? Unless it's to be able to serve a capitalistic structure, which is fucking dumb, right? Because like it should be about like the human beings who live there and serving them and the people who actually pay the fucking taxes, right? But unfortunately, what we have is we have a structure where we go, you know, well, we got to have like infinite growth of GDP. And that's not what needs to happen. We keep trying to have an expansionist policy of like fucking economic growth and like conquering fucking nations or conquering fucking ground and, you know, I mean, just like an exponential expectation of how we live forever. But like, that's just not how the fuck it operates. Like this generation of mine that I'm in right now, we're literally doing worse than our fucking parents were. You know what I mean? Almost all of us, it doesn't matter what career you're in, you know what I mean? You're making less money than your parents were at the same fucking age. And the cost of living is fucking like 3 times the fucking height. So like, we're actually doing fucking worse. Not enough credit to be able to motherfucking make everything operate. And the government can't just give shit away for free forever. And I mean, because like, that's what's known as a Ponzi scheme. And in the next 30 years, even Mexico and South America are going to run out of fucking people to send. Because then their countries absolutely won't function in any way. And they're going to actually have policies where they go, you can't fucking leave. You know what I mean? So we're going to have real conversations about what the fuck it is we're going to do. And we don't even know how to even begin to have these conversations, right? Which, you know, I mean, like, you know, I've been fucking having for fucking 5 years now, right, on this channel on a regular basis, and everybody's kind of catching up to where the fuck we were. Like, everybody now at this point understands something is fundamentally broken, but they don't know what to do because everybody has this ideology of this Milton Friedman liberal, like fucking neoliberal idea of how shit operates. And that's just not, it's not functional. Like, that's kind of the mentality. Like, neoliberalism is like probably fucking cancer for any society. But then again, this is a colonial fucking government. Like, this government was set up as a colony. This is a continuation of the British colony system. Where, like, you give rights to people so that they'll settle fucking land. It's like in Texas, like, the way we got Texas, right, is we didn't stand here and actually have like fucking, you know what I mean, like us like actually go and conquer it. What we did was we moved people there and we gave them land grants and a lot like fucking tried to like outdo them on the population side, right? And this is what has been done throughout this fucking country. In order to claim the country, we fucking sat here and had people move out and like get, you know, fucking like, listen, you own the land and the ground and the air and all the shit that goes with it, the mineral rights, the water rights, all these things. But that's not a functional long-term system. Because eventually, like, you know, you're going to run into a problem where you're drawing off too much fucking resource, and it's going to end up like having a problem where that resource isn't just yours, it's shared with a lot of our people. Like, I'll give you a good, for instance, is the Okalachi fucking water reservoir, aquifer, right? The aquifer that like runs from the Dakotas down to like fucking Texas and Oklahoma, right? This water aquifer, right, is being drained off because of the fact that the farmers aren't making enough money in their fucking, like their actual crops that they're growing. So what they do is, in order to like, you know, be able to pay for the credit they take out to fucking grow their fucking yield, they just dump massive amounts of water on the fucking corn, right? That's kind of the motherfucking issue and shit, right? And that's where we are. And like, this is something that affects everybody. You know what I mean? This isn't something that just affects us. Let's keep that a buck, right? It doesn't just affect the one farmer. It affects everybody around you when motherfuckers are using too much water. And the problem is like, once you drain off so much water out of an aquifer because of gravity, it pushes, you can't refill the aquifer. Then the aquifer goes dry. And then the ground above it goes dry. And when the ground above it goes dry, all of a sudden now like the rainwater just runs off and it doesn't soak in. These are issues. These are problems that are long-term that you can't just solve and wallpaper over. Without a fundamental understanding of like, listen, this is a nation, you start thinking about not just you, but your grandkids, right? And you can't just have cheap fucking food forever. This is shit that we don't think of. This is shit that we don't have conversations about. Because we don't want to have that conversation. Because we're greedy fucking little monkeys. You know what I mean? The end of the day. And everybody's a patron of the fucking state at this point. Because you think state fucking make prices go down. You know what I mean? It's just like the motherfuckers in like, yo, fucking the Carolinas right now. Like, please help us, government, please. You know what I mean? It's no different than, please, God, help me, God. No different, right? Same shit. It's a religious belief. It isn't a motherfucking, like, actual, like, you know, fucking real motherfucking, you know what I mean, thing. It's not like them saying, like, listen, you don't help us, we're going to come up there and we're going to fuck shit up. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, please help us for nothing. There's nothing behind it. It's literally like a kid in the ground going, please, sir. Right? That's where we are right now. And that needs to not be a thing anymore. But yo, look, man, I gotta make a phone call. So I gotta holler at y'all motherfuckers later. I'm out. Peace. Stupid thing. Okay.